Good morning. This morning I will be answering prompt 3. What were the major compromises made at the Constitutional Convention and how were the issues of state representation and slavery resolved? Okay, so the Constitutional Convention was held after there were so many issues from the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation didn't give the central government much power. So delegates from every state except for Rhode Island came together in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1787 to propose plans on how the government should be run. The first plan was the Virginia Plan, which called for each state to be represented based on population. So that would give the larger states more control over the smaller states. Then the New Jersey Plan called for each state to be represented equally. From that came the Great Compromise, which called for Congress having two chambers called a bicameral, I think that's how you say it, legislature. One side being based on the population of each state, called the House of Representatives, and the other, which is the Senate, which is equal representation from each state. Now, when it came to population, there was the issue of slavery. Slavery was already outlawed in the northern states, but the southern states, it was still very widespread. The Southerners wanted every enslaved person to be counted as population for that state. That would give them, more power over the northern states. From this came the 3/5 compromise. The 3/5 compromise said that 3/5 of the population of enslaved people would be counted towards the population for that state. I personally think this is completely wrong. The southern states, the owners, the slave owners, they didn't consider these enslaved people as people. They didn't give them any rights. They weren't allowed to vote. And yet here they want them counted towards population so they have more power in government. It's just not right, but that's what they came down to, the 3/5 compromise. So what this did was this gave the Southerners more power in the House of Representatives, so that gave more power over how taxes and everything were done. But from this, it also put a ban on they couldn't stop bringing in the importation of slaves for another 20 years. So it prolonged that. There was no kind of ban. They couldn't stop it for another 20 years. And slavery didn't end up getting abolished until 1865 under Lincoln's administration. So from the Constitutional Convention, we did get the Constitution and the foundation for the government that we know today, but it also had a lot of its own problems, and from there came the Bill of Rights and so on and so forth. Okay, I hope this wasn't too confusing. I'm sorry I stammer over my words. Thank you, guys.